The most important event in the history of crypto, called the halving, is coming in less than 365 days, and I will tell you, very few people are talking about it. And yet, now is the time to be prepared, because at each cycle, the most important thing is not to invest when everyone is investing, but when no one is interested. And in this video, I will talk about the halving, how it works, why it is so important, and what is its impact on the price of Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. And finally, we will talk about predictions in terms of valuation. Now that we've said that, I'm going to tell you about the halving in 3 key steps that you need to know to get the most out of it. But before I start, and if you are new, welcome. Let me introduce myself. My name is Jay French. I am a French investor, but here no financial advice. I only share my mindset and my vision of the economy on the stock market, crypto and real estate. So if that interests you, do not hesitate to join the community by subscribing, to leave a comment that you are always there even in difficult times. But let's waste no time and talk about the first step. And the key to understanding the halving and its importance is to talk about the origin of everything, that is the blockchain technology. And the question is how the blockchain works in 2 words. And this is important to be able to invest knowingly. And the blockchain, how it works, it's very simple. Just imagine transactions being exchanged from one person to another. These transactions are accumulated to then form what is called a block. And the block is limited to a maximum amount of transaction data. When this limit is reached, the block is formed. This same block is added after the previous block formed, and so on and so on. And a series of blocks connected to each other are then formed, which forms here the blockchain. And all these transactions, and therefore these blocks, are created using a network of computers that validate the transactions, which are then added to the Bitcoin network ledger. And these computers are operated by so-called miners who verify each transaction, each block, and these miners participate in transaction and network security. And now that we have explained what the blockchain is, let's move on the key step number 2, the halving itself. But before addressing this point, it is important to understand 2 principles. First, how does the Bitcoin miner reward principle work? In fact, miners solve complex equations by making the computing power of their computers available. They are then rewarded in Bitcoin itself, and for this work, miners receive a bonus for each block created. This bonus today is 6.25 Bitcoin, and you should know that a block is created approximately every 10 minutes. So 6.25 Bitcoin are created every 10 minutes. Second principle, inflation. This brings us to the principle of inflation that we talk about everywhere today with the increase of the value of goods, and inflation is the process by which the value of money gradually decreases over time, resulting in a general increase in prices. And Bitcoin, on the other hand, is designed to be deflationary because its total quantity is limited to 25 million and not one more. And today, 19,325,862 Bitcoins have been mined and created, and its quantity gradually decreases over time because the creator of Bitcoin, Satoshi Nakamoto, defined this event the halving. The halving is quite simply an event that takes place every 210,000 blocks. It is the division of the number of Bitcoin as well as the rewards of the miners, which are also divided by 2. Hence the name of halving. And it takes this name from the word half, which is like the division by 2. And at the rate of 1 block every 10 minutes, we arrive at this famous 210,000 blocks approximately every 4 years. The last halving took place on May 11th, 2020, and the next one will depend on how fast the next blocks are mined. But according to the current forecast, the next one is estimated to take place in April or May 2024. And now let's talk about the step 3 and effect of the halving on Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. But you must be wondering what its real effect is. And it is simply the principle of supply and demand. What is the demand? Inevitably, during a bear market, demand drops drastically, while in a bull run, demand accelerates. And Bitcoin adoption is estimated to an average of 113% per year. So the demand is multiplied by 2 every year, while the supply, the number of Bitcoin created, is divided by 2 every 4 years. And this mathematically impacts the value of Bitcoin in circulation, and the value tends to increase. And precisely, let's go back to the previous halving. When Bitcoin was created in 2009, the rewards were 50 Bitcoins per block. Then we went to 25 Bitcoins per block in 2012, 12.5 in 2016, and 6.25 in 2020. We will therefore go from 6.25 Bitcoin issued today per block to 3.125 Bitcoin in 2024, and so on until 2140. Thus, while most traditional currencies do experience inflation, and I remind you that for the anecdote that 80% of dollars in circulation today were created in the last 4 years. But Bitcoin, by its principle of halving, should retain its value or even see it increase over time due to its relative scarcity. And now let's look at what happened during previous halvings. During the first halving in November 2012, the price of Bitcoin rose from $11 to go to $1,100 in 2013, to then see its price fall back to $230 a few weeks later and stabilize below $1,000. And during the second halving in July 2016, Bitcoin was around $600 and then exceeded $19,000 at the end of 2017. And during the third halving in May 2020, we went from a Bitcoin at $9,000 to $69,000. And before talking about price prediction and the impact of the halving on the value of Bitcoin, there is a principle to know absolutely if you are new to cryptocurrency that will prevent you from making the same mistakes that many do. Because you should know that many beginners think that on the day of the halving, the price of Bitcoin will increase almost instantly. And it's wrong. Quite the contrary, in fact. Indeed, most of the time, a few weeks before the halving, the price is what is called priced by the market, and the Bitcoin knows a slight increase because of little hype concerning the halving approach, and it pushes new investors to invest before the halving and in anticipation of the event. There is then a slight buying pressure, but you should know that at each cycle, just after the halving, whether a few hours or a few days later, the price tends to fall directly. For what? Because the price of Bitcoin is priced before the halving, and its price falls because the excitement takes place to disappointment because the price of Bitcoin did not meet their expectations. So no secret here, the DCA dollar cost average is reputed to be the best strategy to put in place to invest in a reasoned way without giving way to emotions. And this is the strategy that I apply personally, and I keep telling you about it. It is boring, but ultra effective, especially when this is a bear market or little interest as currently. Speaking of prediction, the reality is that past performance does not in any way predict future performances. But if you look historically, Bitcoin knows its all-time high, its highest price, generally between 12 to 18 months after the halving. So we will still have time to prepare and accumulate. No magic ball here. We all hope to see the same type of bull run at the market experience in 2021. I still remember the 2020 bull run with the halving on May 11th, 2020, and a bull run that really started in November or December 2021. So that's 6 months after the third halving. So it's up to you to tell me your price prediction in the comments below, but clearly clearly the cryptocurrency sector, like any market, has its share of risk, and it is difficult to predict its price from the next cycle because it also depends on the state of the economy in a global way, regulations or manipulation of the market, and these factors alone can swing the cryptocurrency market one way or the other. So patience here is clearly the key. See you in the next video. If you like this video, don't forget to smash the like button, to subscribe if it's not done. See you next week for another video about crypto, finance, investment. Take care. Bye.